Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Lily Rodriguez. I'm the artistic director at the Palm Springs International Film Society. Thank you so much for joining us on this very, very special Q&A for Two of Us, which is France's submission to the Academy Awards. A big thank you to our friends at Magnolia Pictures for sharing the film with us, of course. We have upcoming screenings all through January, which are on our website now. If you're not a member yet and are interested in becoming one, or if you just want to know what we've been up to, please visit us at psfilmfest.org. And now without further ado, I'd like to introduce our guests. We are in conversation with director Filippo Meneghetti, and the conversation will be moderated by Céline Roustan, programmer for PSIFF. Thanks, everyone. Hi, Filippo, and hi, Céline.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Well, thank you. We'll take it over, I guess. So, hi, Filippo. Right. Good evening.
Hi. Good evening. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, for us, definitely.
It's evening. For us, it's evening in Europe.
Well, yeah, let's get to it. So just so you know, this was a big film for me. I qualified it as the most epic and realistic love story I've ever seen on screen and even like written. So it deeply moved me. That's why I'm very curious to know about the writing process, especially since you co-wrote it with Madison Boasmi, but also you credited two other writers as collaborators. So I was just wondering if you could just tell us a little bit about how the story came to be and then the writing process.
First of all, thanks so much. Wonderful words you said. I'm really, really honored. And yeah, the writing process, it was a long process indeed. We wrote it, me and Malison, for 5 years. Then that was really the two of us doing all the different drafts, which were quite a lot. The very first idea as a long story, meaning that it was that kind of story. I wanted to tell that kind of story since a long time, but I didn't actually know exactly, because I had witnessed it when I was younger, in the year of my formation, something that happened to two people that were very important to me, since they are the people that passed over the passion for cinema to me. So they were very important, I guess, if I'm a filmmaker today. So I witnessed their story, which was very, very hard, and that has nothing to do with the actual story that the film tells. But I was struck by that, and I always thought that if one day I had the possibility to touch an audience, I would have loved as a gesture to give something back to them. So somehow to tell that kind of a story. And then I was looking for years for the right angle to tell that story, because I'm always kind of hunting for metaphors. I'm trying to find the right images that could work, that could show what is happening inside the character, what is the struggle of a character. And so then one day I came across visiting a friend, like 10 years later. Since I started to think I would like to tell that kind of story, I went to visit a friend, and I find out that on the upper floor there were two widows that became widows pretty much at the same time, and to keep each other company, they were living, with the two doors of the two different apartments always open, and like kind of living through the landing and talking to each other from one apartment to the other. And when I, just curious, I peeped a little bit, and I found that out. It clicked, and I said, oh, that's a good metaphor for my story, because I can, with it's simple and everyday life metaphor, open door, closed door, I can tell my story of exclusion and self-censorship and all the things that were, running into my mind. So that was the very first, starting point. But then we've been working with Malison for 5 years, which means that layer after layer after layer, we started to add things, and then our own personal life, through 5 years there are so many things happening, and you meet people, and of course we did research. And I started to kind of work on a stage, not on a stage. I get into a a thing for caregiver, so that I could see what was going on in real life and try to get the right details. And Malison on her side was, talking to other people that has that kind of story, and people we know and people we met, and since the financing, why was that long? Because financing was difficult. So the good side of it is that we had time to work the script. For me, 2 years were enough. I would have been happy to shoot it after 2 years. But so then it gets different layers again, and you add things, and there were several keywords, let's say, that we wanted to keep in mind while working, and try to shape the film on that, like avoiding pathos, avoiding flashback, avoiding using the thrilling element as an item, as a tool to build up tension and obsession, and also using that to give all the information that we retain in a way that is not just giving information, but also triggering emotion with the audience. So that was the idea of not using flashback, but giving information little by little, like you do in a thriller. You retain some information and you give them to the audience when you feel it's the right timing. So we tried to do that.
I mean, yeah, there is a thriller-ish vibe because we are like very engaged and we want to know what happens next, and there's a building tension. So definitely. So you said that the writing process was very long. So I was wondering, at what point did you start casting? Was it before the final draft, or did you start thinking about it before?
Yeah, actually, it was before. Again, 5 years. It's a lot of different stories and things that happens. But it was not at the very beginning, because when you start to write, at least that's what I think. It's better not to think right away to somebody, or it might happen, but you don't want to, focus your mind on a specific actress, because for the 1,000 reasons for which an actress can say no, then you're going to have to mourn it, and it's going to be difficult. So I'd rather not do that. But then it was pretty early, probably after a couple of years, I guess. So Martine, Barbara, and later on Leah were involved while we were still in the process, in the film, while we were still writing and rewriting for financing, for commission, and so on. And so that gave us the opportunity somehow to tailor a little bit their characters. Since we started, to hang out whenever it was possible. Barbara lives in New York, and I lived in Paris at the time. But every time she was in New York, we would catch up. Or Martine, she lives in Paris, so sometimes I was catching up with her or with Leah, and somehow you exchange about the character, but also you get to know the person, so you get to know the particular energy and vibe of that person. And I believe our job when we are writing is also, once you know that person is going to play the character, then try to guide the character, and actually to use all these things that you can see in that person that will nourish the character, and the other way around. And so we tried to do that.
So, for example, was Nina's character, which is Barbara's character, was she always not French? Was that part of that from the beginning? She was not French?
Yeah. That even before, it was very first thing that I wanted when I started to think about the film. I wanted one of the two, to be a stranger. Maybe because I'm a stranger in France, I don't know, but I believe. But it was since I'm Italian, I live in France. But the idea was that without spoiling the film, once she get in trouble, if she's a stranger, her situation is even more difficult. She has nothing to do there in this little town in southern France. If she grew up there, then it is a whole different story. People, you have family, you have relatives, and it is a whole different feel. While she is alone, with her love, with her choices, and with what she did of her life for this love. And that trigger an obsession, a state of mind, which I really like to play with, which is, you know, anxiety and you know, the thrilling element again, which works with that.
Yeah, because Mado is all her life. In the end, that's why she's not only fighting for Mado's life, she's also fighting for hers.
But you know, there is a somehow the film, you know, the French title, the original title is Tout de, and the film is built on symmetry, and the mirror. There are a lot of images shot in mirrors in the film, but the mirror was really an idea while writing. The fact that everything happens twice, and I mean, I don't need the audience to realize that. I know that it is in there, and I hope that that thing will work the audience somehow, without them knowing. It's not important that they are aware of it. I put these things into the film, so it is shaped consistently somehow with one idea, and so somehow the two characters switch. Madeleine becomes Nina, and Nina becomes Madeleine during the film. You know, she's the one. Nina take over the lies that Madeleine was handling, and at the same time, in the second part of the film, Madeleine, she's not lying anymore when in the way she can, which is difficult for her. But that was something that we were really concentrating, focusing on while writing, and then with Barbara and Martina, we talked a lot about it.
So we've mentioned the three main characters, three main actors. So Léa Drucker, Martine Chevalier, and Barbara Sukovan. I was like, all three of them are pretty established actors. Martine and Léa are pretty big in France. And I was just wondering, how did you approach them with the script, and what was their initial reaction when they read it?
I guess the easiest possible way. I mean, we send them the script. They read the script, and we met in different times with each of them, and we talked, and they were, I guess, crazy enough to trust me and get on board. And they gave me this gift of you know, their talent and trust to make this film, which was my first feature. So, you know, you can always, I mean, I think they saw my short film, but that was it. And then, you know, you sit down and you talk about the character, and you try. I try to convince them that I have a vague idea of what I'm gonna do, and maybe they will agree, and that would happen. And I was, you know, so happy with it, since, you know, as you say, they're, you know, Barbara and Martine, they are both kind of legend in their own respective field, and Léa, she's such a wonderful actress, and it's really an actress that I really like since a long time. So
you mentioned that Barbara lives in New York, and what is striking in the film is their chemistry. So I was just wondering how it happened, if it happened instantly when they met, how long they had to build it, to work on it. And since the film is not shot chronologically, did you play with that, like shooting the scenes where the most chemistry was needed towards the end, or did it not matter? It was instant from the get-go. It was movie magic. They fell in love.
Well, you know, about chemistry, one quick thing to say is that I had an idea. I was very concerned about the chemistry of the two, because if that doesn't work, the film is never going to work. So I was really scared about it. But I had this idea in mind that I wanted to cast two very different actresses, since I believe that, you know, chemistry works better with two different elements, you know, because there's something that will happen in that difference. And so they are very different as a person when you met them, but also as a kind of acting style, I guess, and history. And so that I was really interested in it. And then didn't have much time to rehearse. So basically, we did not rehearse at all. I met them separately for few years, I mean, a couple of years. And then we probably 3 months, I guess, so a couple of months before the shooting, we had the dinner in Paris, me, Martine and Barbara, and they, it was very strange because we met and I was super concerned about how it's going to play out, and they get along very well. But after kind of half an hour, they were talking about very intimate things, about, you know, love stories, and but with some details that I shouldn't be there listening, you know, and it was great. I mean, I really liked it, and so after that, you know. The choice we made was to with the assistant director and the production was to start, you know, the very first day with something easy, because, you know, you have to start and everything, but then try to we did shot the dance scene very quick, like the second day, because I want to break the ice. I want them to find physical, intimate contact. Because if they don't have that, then all the other scenes, you know, you're gonna see that they are not close, that they never touch each other. So I wanted that to happen. It was a risk, but I wanted that to happen early in the shooting, at least once. Then we waited for the more intimate scene. We waited for like the second week, I guess was. But I really wanted to shoot something intimate and with themselves touching their own bodies early. So then the second day they have that habit of touching each other while they walk, while they talk, even having breakfast. You know, when you are in a couple with somebody, you know the other body, and that shows. So that was an idea.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely the chemistry is sizzling, I might say. I was wondering about the dreamlike sequences. So if at what point did you choose to write them in, or if they were supposed to be in from the very beginning? And the idea that it's not really clear what they are meant to be doing, but they do set a mood that works with the narrative, obviously, and completely serves the narrative. But I was just wondering if you had something specific in mind, or if it was more of a poetic approach complement to the story.
Well, yeah, they were there since the beginning. There were even more of those, which were never shot, because, you know, we had budget problem. So as always on the first feature, I guess it's mandatory. So we have to cut out some scenes, not just those kind of scenes, also other scenes before shooting. I mean, we never got to shoot it. We have to make it more simple on a budget level. So it was a choice. But there was always this will to have that kind of sequence. First of all, because I like it, which is the best possible answer, I guess.
Yeah.
I used to say that to the DOP, you know, best possible answer. I like it, and no, and then you know, not just joking about, because I want to avoid the. I didn't want to make a naturalistic film. I really want to go another way, to take the audience somewhere else, and because there were at least 2 or 3 different things into that choice. First thing was to create, you know, I don't even know if it is not a flashback. I don't know exactly what it is. If it is a nightmare or a memory or a premonition, but I don't want to know. It is a cinema image, so it has the same level of reality that all the other image. Anyway, everything is fake and everything is real. It is cinema. So, and you know, and it goes with it. So it is an image that is proposed to the audience. That's it. But the idea was to create a place, a mental place, which is shared from the 2 characters. You know, when you're really in love with somebody, you don't need to speak, because you have the same things in mind. So it was the kind of idea with Malisson to represent that. And so there is this space that they share. They both can get there. And I want to invite the audience there as well. So the audience share this space with the characters. And the idea is to keep that space ambiguous. It was very important for me that it can have several meanings, and they are all okay with me. Since what I want, and I believe it's my job as a filmmaker, is to create a space, room for the audience to gather their own emotion, their own meaning of the film, to engage the audience and to trigger their imagination. And so I need to leave room for it. So if I narrow every meaning, then there's no more room, and I'm pushing the emotion toward the audience, and I don't like that. And I don't think it's the right. I mean, at least in the way I see things, it's the right things to do. And so then it can have several meaning, and maybe it's even less interesting if I talk about it, But of course, it is an hide and seek game at the beginning, and so that's basically what they are doing. Nina and Madeleine, they are playing hide and seek somehow, and it ends up with something that tells you, that announces the separation coming. Somehow the fact that the little girl loses her voice, which will happen, and then it is a story of untold things. So the things of hiding things under the surface of the water again. But the idea, I hope it resonates in many different ways with the audience and with the characters and with the story. And my goal, if 2 hours after the screening, somebody that saw the film is still thinking about it, then I'm very glad. That's my only point.
No, it's exactly what you said. It does create emotional room, and it makes the audience active into like trying to figure out and trying to understand what it meant to them. Like, for example, for me, the two girls could be obviously Madeleine and Nina, but to me, it could also be Madeleine. Like, I go back and forth. At some point, I was thinking that it could be Madeleine and also dealing with her health condition that now she's trapped with. So it's just, clearly I've thought about this film way too long, but yeah, I've tried to analyze and see what it, which every meaning could add to the film emotionally, for sure. You've mentioned also that it was your first feature. So do you have any, well, you've also mentioned that it took a long time to finance it, but as a first-time feature filmmaker, what were like the biggest challenges for you?
Oof. It's hard. There are many challenges, of course, which all goes through the fact that it is what you really want to do in your life. So you want to do that. So whatever the challenge is, you'll take it. So whatever. But I think one thing for me that was difficult was to keep the enthusiasm and the emotion going through the 5 years, because it is a long wait, and you tend to lose the
Stamina.
the stamina. It is a matter of frustration. It is not a matter of stamina, because you're not actually working all the time to the film.
Yeah.
So, and that for me, being to writing, that was very important, and having my producer also backing me up. I was you're not alone, and that's very, very useful, I guess. And then which is the weirdest thing, is that you wait 5 years, and this tag is very high, very important, because that it's your first feature. If you miss it, then it's going to be difficult to make a second. So you have a lot of pressure. You put a lot of pressure on yourself, and you wait 5 years, and then you shot in 30 days. And so a lot of waiting, and then it's very, very quick. And you flip the coin, and you try to run and do whatever you can. That's the, I guess, the
It feels like a baby.
thing.
Long pregnancy.
Oh,
you
yeah.
go into labor, and then it's out.
Then sorrow for a little while, and then you hope the baby looks good and he is healthy. But it is completely, you know, it's, I mean, I cannot give birth to a baby, but I believe it's kind of a similar thing, but you know.
And so like the film premiered at TIFF in the Discovery section in 2019, so that's over a year ago. We had the film at the festival in January 2020, and I know it's your first film, a feature, so you haven't done a lot of promotion before for your shorts compared since it is your first feature, but I was just wondering how it's been for you, especially since now that the film is representing France at the Oscars. So how has it all been to promote a film from the comfort of your own home in front of your computer?
Well, the journey of this film was really unexpected and unpredictable, but completely unpredictable, very surprising, and it was and that's such a gift. Since you know you work a long time, then you know if it has a long when you see that your baby is healthy and run around the world, then it's wonderful. You know, you did that for something, especially because I make film to touch an audience, you know, to be in a dialogue with people. So when I think that, you know, this film is being, you know, screened in the States or in New Zealand or in Hungary or in Russia, or it's crazy, you know, I cannot, you know, make my mind out of it. Then it's strange because I had 6 months traveling with the film, since from Toronto, which was a great experience, to March the 7th or the 8th, which I was in Belgrade, and I was traveling all the time, probably the 80s or something, screening, meeting the audience, which was such a wonderful experience. You know, so moving, and the film was so well received by the audience around the world that was I had so many good memories about it. And then it has been, you know, everything shut down, and a lot of wonderful trips that were going to happen didn't happen, and whatever, and it became all this virtual thing. So sometimes it's very strange because in one day you're just in your room and you are at 3 o'clock in the afternoon you speak with St. Petersburg in Russia, and at night is with Los Angeles, which makes no sense, and it is a very strange experience. But as long as the film, you know, I'm so lucky because I can still do my job, and the films can still be seen, and this is wonderful. And then we had this wonderful and unexpected news of representing France, which is such an honor, and again, it is a gift, the journey that this film had for me. Being my first feature, I would never imagine that to go that far, and you know, I just look forward then anyway to start meeting people in real life again, because it is cool, but it is better when you do it in person. So, and I like to travel, so, and to meet people.
Well, thank you so much, Filippo. Thank you for joining us,
Thank
and
you.
thank you for answering our questions. I wish you all the best for the Oscars, and looking
Thanks so
forward to
much.
your new film. Can't wait for you to write something else.
I can
Hopefully,
wait.
it won't take 10 years this time, I hope.
Hopefully. I hope to, really. Thanks for having me. It was really nice to talk to you.
Thank you.